from a very famous producer called Domaine Tempier. So Tempier is that word right there. It's from an area called Bandol. Bandol is Bandol is to Provence what like maybe for red wine, what like Napa is to California, what like Mendoza is to Argentina, what Bordeaux is to that part of France. Like Bandol is the place for the production of red wine. They make red wine everywhere, but Bandol is always like, if there's that whole idea of like regalness and like kind of, I guess regal is kind of a fancy word for uppity, and these, Bandol is a different place. But to me, regal and like that kind of stuff, just a group of people that did maybe dress different, talk a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it's all the same shit. So Bandol is, the Tempier family is very important in Europe, in Provence, especially. Hey Kyle, do me a favor, close that door. It's very important. So to make a historical reference in the wine world, there's this thing called phylloxera, right? But just like when we were talking about maceration, which is like basically just dunking tea bags, phylloxera was basically like a little gnat, right? But in phylloxera, it sounds like this big kind of like designed biological weapon or something. There was this thing in the 1800s where there was this little aphid-like thing called phylloxera that came came from the United States in vine clippings and brought to Europe, and these little bugs like destroyed like all the viticultural land in Europe, like decimated, like bad scene, like super bad, like a wine famine. They would need like UN like powdered food drops of wine. It was so bad, like no wine anywhere. So the Tempier family was responsible for the area of Bandol kind of really grasping onto these new cuttings, phylloxera-free, helping clean up the area. So by the 1860s, Bandol was one of the areas that was not affected with phylloxera. They had ripped everything out and replanted new. So back in 1855, and we have this rule at Silverlake wine, it slips every once in a while, but we don't sell any wines with medals on it. Like, we don't sell any wines that have like a little gold fucking county fair from Sonoma, bronze medal or whatever. And silver medal is the worst because you have to lose to get a silver. Bronze medal, at least you win it, right? So, and then so a lot of people put medals on wine bottles. Like, you don't go to like Spago in Beverly Hills and see Michael Phelps with fucking 7 gold medals sitting there, you know what I mean? Medals are meant for your house, you leave them there. So we don't sell any wines with medals on them. But Domaine Tempier won a very famous medal in 1860, and it had to do with what they did for Bandol. And they did so much for Bandol that back in 1941, the people that owned Tempier, the Tempier family and the other name of the French people escaped me, but these two families married and became Tempier. They had like this idea that like we should call this place Bandol and we should make sure it's all Mourvedre because that's what we like and that's what happened. So these guys actually helped put kind of Tempier Bandol on the map. This is 100% Mourvedre. There's in Spain they call the same grape Monastrell. This is, like I was saying, kind of a very, Tempier is like the top of the top. Like, it is the best Bandol, in my opinion, and many other opinions of people that are much more eloquent than I. They can tell you all kinds of reasons why, but the fact of the matter is, when you see Domaine Tempier, they make red wine, white wine, and rosé. White wine might as well be that whole, like, tree fall in the woods if no one's already here. It doesn't happen, because it doesn't come to the United States. Rosé is super good, way better than that Domaine Saint-Tropez Ice Cube Russian rosé. And but Bandol Tempier Red is some of the best of the best. So kind of we went from like the Rage Against the Machine lady who's super mad about Provence being Provence, what it is now, and he's returned back to this kind of like hunter-gatherer type place, to the super great young people that are doing these things for Du Prévost, to the Domaine Tempier. These people kind of like were there from the very beginning. So kind of like a straight across look at like what Provence is right now. If you guys have never been to Provence, it's a super cool place to visit. It's one of those places like, some of those places where you go there, like you think you can live there for the rest of your life. Provence is one of those places. You go there, it's like, warm water, cutoffs, black Amex, t-shirt, done. So the Tempier is the last one. It's probably the heaviest of all, and just one of the great regal wines of the south of France. And to go with this last course, young Matthew Pulley has constructed what type of dish for us to enjoy with the Mourvedre from Bandol, Matthew?
All right, so